Sup YouTube, welcome back to another video documenting my journey to legend. I've never hit legend before and I'm hoping to do so for the first time this season. If that's something you think you'd be interested in, definitely consider subscribing to the channel. Before I get started with the battles, I want to give a huge shout out, repeat shout out, but also a really special shout out to my boy Steven Castro. He's been telling me for like the past 3-4 days to run lantern lead, and I've been like, yeah, bro, I'll get to it. Well, I finally got to it. So I ran Lantern in the lead and I climbed 100 points with this team that's incredibly weak to Trev lead and also a Swampert lead. So what am I doing? Well, honestly, this team doesn't struggle too poorly against Swampert. I showcased 2 wins that I have against Swampert leads because I'm sort of expecting there to be flyers. And as you can see, Noctowl doesn't really have anywhere to go on this team except for DEOXYS. And DEOXYS with enough of an energy lead does pretty well against it. But yeah, I finally decided to run Lantern lead. This Swampert did go straight for the Earthquake. It's non-shadow, so it kind of needs to. And it's going to outpace me to the next one, but that's fine. I'm going to come in with... Walrein. Jesus, what's the name? With Walrein, Muriel. And throw one... before they get to their Earthquake. What a freaking Chad. Luckily I have DEOXYS in the back, so I'm able to come in. I'm gonna have to tank an Earthquake, which is not ideal. Oh wow, I guess they go straight Ice Cold Spear. I think what they were thinking here is, I believe they have a Hydro Cannon loaded. I mean, they do. And so one Hydro will take me out from this range. So they were just going straight Ice Cold Spear in order to get me into Hydro Cannon range. They are in Hydro Cannon range, so I throw immediately. But I didn't expect them to come in with the Altaria. I thought they were going to come in with the Swampert and just dump their energy. And now I'm going to overfarm. I'm going to have to take a move. I didn't realize it would do so much, but they come back in. I'm expecting the swap, like the combo play, but it's not enough to take me out. And since they've thrown, I'm going to undercharge this just a bit so that I can possibly get to a move. I don't, but I believe they're in Psycho Boost range, so I throw at the very, very last second. Is this enough? It barely is. I know some people hate it when the YouTubers say that, like, barely is enough. Like, it took it out, bro. It took it out, all right? It was enough. It doesn't matter if it was barely enough. It's enough. But I get what they're trying to say, you know? Like if you actually look at the damage, it's probably like 2 or 3 damage more. Here we're going up against a Shadow Swampert, which is much scarier. And I'm not really ballsy enough to call a freaking bait. So, you know, I'm just playing it safe, playing out the 2 shields. If they want to play out the 2 shields, which they're going to need to, it's fine by me, right? And we're gonna shield this. Oh, wow, they actually do go for the Earthquake. So I believe, right? They shield us up, and they're going to outpace me to either a Hydro Cannon or an Earthquake. I think a Hydro Cannon would have taken me out from that range. You can let me know in the comments if I'm wrong. But this leaves it with just barely enough health for me to farm down before they get to a move. And they quit, which is why I finished the game. Oh, here we go. Trev lead. The only Trev lead I think I won in all 5 sets that I did. And it's only because I think they misplay it. I think they were trying to catch an Icicle Spear on the Bastiodon, which is not a bad move. But they should have thrown. They should have taken some damage and then brought in the Basti. But I figured they wanted to get a ton of damage. At this point, I think Icicle Spear is enough. And lucky for me, they shield. And they're still not throwing. So I just throw the other Icicle Spear immediately before, you know, they get wise and decide to throw some energy. We get both shields, so that's great. I think I come in with DEOXYS hoping I can snipe, considering they throw an extra move. And they shouldn't, because they threw a smackdown, they shouldn't have gotten to that move. But I think I got that 1 turn lag again. They come in with the Trev, and I'm just going to throw this Psycho Boost immediately. My opponent's still not throwing for whatever goddamn reason. So, you know, we get that off. We catch... hopefully a Seed Bomb, not a Shadow Ball. We do catch a Seed Bomb. Still does a sizable chunk, but now I can shield. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to shield and overfarm. But they bring in a Reggie, so lucky for me, they didn't make me use my second shield. That would have been, you know, a good play by them. But then maybe the switch timers would have been misaligned, and I could have came back in with DEOXYS. There were a few Registeel swap-ins, which I found kind of interesting because I don't think it works that well as a swap in. I do somehow manage to catch a Focus Blast, which was pretty amazing. And now I have the Psycho Boost. They need to farm me down in order to have a move for the Lantern. And we managed to take that game. So Oh man, some sweaty battles. I did manage to climb 100 points. I went pretty positive in all sets. I had 1-5-0. This is a loss. Spoiler alert, right? But this video is going to showcase most of my losses because these were teams that I didn't know how to play, and I feel like I should have played them better. My first mistake was baiting. I should have just thrown the Thunderbolt and at least gotten the damage or something. I'm assuming they're going to have something to counter Medicham or a fighter in the lead. And I try to get fancy here, and oh man, I try to get fancy and I'm like, oh yeah, you know, I'm big brain plays over here outthinking my opponent, but they're gonna outpace me, so now I have to let this go. And yeah, barely doesn't KO, so they get another extra counter through. So and you're gonna see that I needed that wall rain in the back. Here I'm gonna commit to the farm down, which is probably my only play at this point. I'm super low. What do they bring in? I see the typing, and I still throw this frickin' Thunderbolt. What the hell was I thinking? So yeah, climbing 100 points, but you know, my brain's still not all up there. So yeah, we tanked this beautiful Earthquake. I need to Psycho Boost, like a Thunderbolt will do pathetic damage. And I'm trying to like CMP tie. I honestly don't know who wins CMP. I think it's IV dependent maybe. And they come in with a Noctowl, and I can get to this Thunderbolt, but let's see how much a double D boosted. Oh my god, look at that. Pathetic. I thought they would CMP for sure, but you know, they're smart. They can tank all these moves. I have the Surf loaded. Had I thrown the freaking Surf against the DEOXYS, against the Stunfisk, both Surfs, it would have been a much better game. We possibly could have won that. Okay, so they swap in Medicham, and my immediate assumption is there's a Vic in the back. Because why wouldn't there be a Vic? That team's been going around like crazy, and I'm like, you know what? This is probably the best lead I'm gonna find for, or the best matchup that I'm gonna find for Lantern, so I'm just gonna stay in. I'm gonna call the bait because they like the bait, and so far everything's going as planned, right? I'm like, all right, they're gonna reach the Psychic. Let me at least shield and, you know, farm down. If I come in with the Vic, then I'll at least get some damage, and they won't expect a wall rain in the back, right? Like, I'll get some nice ass damage, but they bring back in the Basti. I'm like, all right, maybe they want to tank the damage on the Vic, right? Whatever. But these Surfs are super effective, so I'm just gonna stay in, and I'm doing appropriate counting, right? I might still be able to get to another Surf, just barely, maybe not. I do. I managed to get to one more Surf just before I go down, which is insane. I get a shield from them, so that was really clutch. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna come in with DEOXYS, farm up, and they bring in a goddamn Sableye. So I catch on 6 because I assumed they would throw on 6. And this isn't the worst matchup in the world. So I'm going to shield once. I throw right before their next foul play, just to guarantee some damage. But it looks like they don't want to take any damage. So I'm going to shield this. I am hopefully not going to... Yeah, I throw right away so I don't CMP because I believe this was their 5 cycle. And they can't farm me down without throwing a move. So we CMP. And right now I'm thinking one counter, right? One counter takes this out. No, one counter does not take this out. And then I throw the move anyway. I should have thrown the Thunderbolt. I would have tanked a Stone Edge, and maybe I would have been able to either farm it down or make it to another Psycho Boost to take it out. That was my win con, and I threw that game because I thought way too much about it. I really thought one counter would take it out. But this is defense DEOXYS we're talking about. So, yeah, we throw that game. Here, when they shielded, I should have known it was going to be triple counter. I should have shielded and preserved my Lantern. And then I'm too slow to the swap. I either should have thrown a move or just gotten some damage so that I could preserve some health on this thing, because now I have to shield a lot. Or maybe just let my Lantern go. But, you know there's going to be an obstacle in the back, and I wasn't too sure what to do with this team. They come back in real quick with the DEOXYS. I try to get off as much damage as I can. And yeah, it's just not looking pretty. We already know how this goes. This is about all she wrote. I should be top lefting, but I'm not, because I'm trying to see if there's a potential to win. And like, I just know my behind is being handed to me. I come in with the wall rain. Just to soak up some damage. They're running Rock Slide. I was like, all right, yeah, that's only a Psycho Boost. I'm not gonna make it to an earthquake. I try to CMP, but they're smart. They know they can just farm me down. And look at this. Look at this conniving goon. Check out what I do. I go for the bait because I'm like, oh, they have to shield. No, I was wrong. They don't have to shield. And then I lose CMP. I should have known this based on how many times I've played goon. But I mean, it didn't matter, right? I would have died anyway. Okay, this is one core breaker that I don't think we're coming back from. Maybe I should have gone immediately for the Psycho Boost. That could have been a play, you know, force a shield from them. They come in with DEOXYS, Bastiodon, and I'm thinking, you know what, maybe I could sort of try to flip this matchup, but I just don't have enough health. I'm nowhere near enough health to farm this down or anything. Maybe I should have invested a shield. Maybe then the Venu would have stayed in and I could have realigned my Pokemon somehow. And you're gonna see that I'm gonna need it because this is gonna be Venu double steal. I try to get some damage off so that at least maybe I have a chance to come in with Wall Rain and farm down. There's Reggie in the back. I can beat it to the move. I didn't expect a shield because this doesn't KO, but you know, we got to. Might as well use them. I am gonna shield this. I get really lucky and get the buff. And then I lost count. And I was like, all right, fuck it. I lost. That's fair, man. You outplayed me, sir. Good on you, you piece of shit. All right, we got a pretty favorable lead. Every Pokemon on my team practically beats this. I know they're trying to bait out a fighter. I just know it, but it's so tempting to not it's too tempting to not come into a goon that's double weak to counter and farm this thing all the way down. That was honestly so beautiful. And then I'm noticing, yeah, once they come back in, I'm like, oh wow, those poison jabs are doing quite a bit of damage. I don't think I'm gonna get to 2 Thunderbolts. So I just go for the Psycho Boost. I don't know if 2 Psycho Boosts would have done more damage than a Thunderbolt and a Psycho Boost. So maybe I could have reached 3. That would have been a play. And they come in with their Scrafty, their little rocker, and I just know they're gonna go for pups, right? Like when you're a Scrafty, you love going for pup, ramping up those counters and just hoping you have a prayer in the back, which you do. But they don't know that yet. And here I'm like, you know what, fuck it, like I might as well shield. And they go for the foul play. So I was like, all right, cool. At least that wasn't a total waste. They're still shielding. I know a catch is coming, but I need to throw it. But now I have a win con. Now I just need to farm this all the way down, save my shield because I'm not too sure who wins CMP. I think it is Wall Rain, but I wasn't too positive. They can at most reach a brine, and now we have the Earthquake loaded, and we managed to salvage us a win. So I felt real good about these battles. We still got one battle left, and would you look at this? I left this in here. I think we lose this. Or do we? I forget. I'm not like trying to build up the suspense. I forget if we win this. Oh yes, this is why I showcase this, because the Reggie swap-ins, tank a move, throw a move, and then bring in DEOXYS and commit to the farm down is what I've learned is the best possible play. And if you're in my head right now, then you know I'm expecting them to try to catch a move. But I need to go. I know what it is. I know it's a Stunfisk, but I need to go for the Thunderbolt because I need as much counter damage as I can possibly fathom. I try, I believe, to throw 1 before the CMP so that I don't lose all this energy. And then I throw what I think is going to be the CMP. But they don't throw. But they can't farm me down, and I'm going to get as much counter damage as possible. And I win CMP. I could have sworn Stunfisk won the CMP against DEOXYS. So this is beautiful. I'm going to let this go. Their switch timer is probably almost up. I bring in Wall Rain, and they see that I have a Wall Rain and their Pelipper has nowhere to go. So that was a pretty beautiful game. My last set, I thought I almost threw that. I thought I was going to go negative, but we did manage to climb up to 2465, more than 100 points as of the video that was posted yesterday. I was real proud of this team. Steve didn't recommend this team specifically, but he did say use Lantern in the lead. And I was being stubborn and didn't want to, but I'm glad I finally did because I am so glad that we're slowly climbing back up. I'm going to try this team again tomorrow as of recording this video, and we'll see how we do. You know, there's some glaring obvious weaknesses like Swampert and Trev and Venusaur, apparently. But overall, I think it does pretty well. Noctowl doesn't really have a whole lot of places to go. Medi is pretty well covered by the first two mons, and Up Energy Walrein can do okay. So yeah, if you have the mons, it's not too, oh, I guess DEOXYS is kind of difficult to build up. But you can always swap it out for Medi, and it should work about the same, right? You'd essentially be hard countering that Lantern, that Noctowl Lantern Medi line, and that's always nice. So yeah, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.